Libras, at the end of December 2018 and moving into 2019. How has the energy of that magical full moon in Cancer been treating Libras? How does it continue to affect and inform them currently and moving forward into the new year? Libras, Libras, Libras. Let us see. Libras. Three of Wands, Rods, Seven of Pentacles, Eight of Pentacles, and the Hierophant. You've been working hard and you are invested in what you are working on. And the fact that you aren't reaping the rewards that you thought you would, the fact that it's not your success that you have seen as a result of that work and that investment, the fact that it's not turning out exactly the way you thought it would is not even putting a hitch in your get up, Libras. Instead, you're just committing to it more fully. Lovely. Lovely. You know, I think I did mean to put you first. I did mean to do your reading first, Libras, but I think there's a reason why it waited. It looks awesome. It's definitely the kindest reading immediately to the eyes of all 12, for sure. Then you do have the King of Cups in reverse moving forward. The Seven of Cups. And you've got the Six of Pentacles in reverse. Okay, so I really feel like this is an energy outside of yourself. You have been working. As I said, you're very invested, the way a mother would be in a pregnancy and her child. Now, I'm not saying that's just an example. I don't think that's what it is. I think you're working on something external to yourself. Something that you feel very passionate about, something that you see sure growth in. And the magical cold full moon in Cancer shed extra light and power on this project for you, for sure. As you can see here in the Deviant Moon Tarot's depiction of the Three of Rods. Now, you're a little anxious. You want this to turn out. You want this very much. Like I said, I think you feel very passionate about it. In fact, it's a creative expression likely for a lot of you. And if it's not to you, then it is to other people who are watching you. And it's going to turn out that way. It's going to play out that way. You're anxious, you're eager, you really want it to work out, and it will. It will. You've been working so hard on this thing. I see you praying to the divine, praying to the planets, praying to the multiverse. Please, 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 please help with this. You really want this thing, Libras. And as I said, you are seeing success currently in this thing. You're seeing success. It's just not as much reward, not as much return as you wanted. The success isn't exactly what you wanted it to be. But it's not... It's not making you, it's certainly not making you change your plans or even think about starting over or giving up on this process, this project. It's just making you commit even deeper. You're starting maybe rituals around this work. You have a deep faith in what will come about as a result, again, of your investment, your investment of your time and your energy here. I see you testing how people are receiving this, testing how certain approaches will turn out. You've been doing, okay, I see this progression here. You've been doing the hard, tedious, monotonous, repetitive work that the beginning or maybe the middle of this project required. And you've worked and you've worked and you've worked, and then now you're kind of waiting, right? You're waiting, you're watching. The magic of the full moon certainly informed the project. It was a time that has been a time of rest for you after some work, and you took a couple days, and it makes sense around the holiday season too. You took a couple days to sort of not reevaluate, but just to sit back and look at how far you'd come and where the work had taken you, right? And in that space, it was really great that you took a second to step back, right? Because in that space you saw, what I need to do here is, some testing. How are people receiving this? How are different approaches working out for different people, different types of people in different areas? You see how she's testing. Is this ready? Is it ready? You know, in this picture, it's am I ready to receive this? But I'm really getting the message that you're testing how other people are receiving certain approaches. And, you know, I don't know exactly what type of work I'm talking about for each of you, so it's slightly different for each of you how it plays out. And what you have here you're willing to invest everything in this. This project is you. You are one with it at this time, Libras. You're willing to work long hours and to do the repetitive, monotonous work again if you have to. You're ready and willing. You're invested. You've found new reserves of energy that you didn't even know you had. It's because you want this so badly. You're like a mad scientist in the lab over this. You will test and try again and try again. And you will wait for the right time. And you will find out who the correct audience is. And again, the faith and commitment too is there. You're just becoming... The more you see it not turn out the way that you're hoping for, the more committed you become, right? So the faith, the commitment, the work, the energy, it's all there. But as you test, as you try new approaches, are you trying non-traditional approaches? Are you trying things that no one has ever tried? Are you trying things that are unique and authentic to only you? Ask your inner child. You see this little child in his pocket. Ask your inner child what he or she would do. That's the one ingredient that I don't see. It's the one ingredient that you might be missing here. I mean, it looks beautiful, and you are definitely getting to where you are going with this type of faith and commitment. But the next step may be to go within and ask your inner light. Ask that childish part of you. You're so committed. You're working so hard. You're being such an adult and such a grown-up about this. And you're right. It requires that. You have to be organized, and you have to be willing to come back day in and day out and work long hours and etc. I'm getting that feeling for whatever you're working on. You're right. It requires that. But make sure you're having fun with it still, right? Make sure that, you know, replace that little bit of anxiousness, that little bit of anxiety, that little bit of worry. Replace that with this part of you that insists on having fun with this. Likely you've become so committed and you've worked so hard because it is something that you love to do, right? Likely, right? What else would we become so obsessed with, Libras, besides something that we actually like? So make sure you're visiting that carefree part of yourself that just wants to enjoy the process and the project. Make sure you're inviting that part in and asking it, what would you do? How would you do this differently? What would you try? because that's what's going to make it expressive of you. That's what's going to make it, since it is you, that's what's going to make it express an authentic, genuine part of you. And that's what's going to make it your own. Not only non-traditional, but like literally unique. Just something that no one else in the entire multiverse could come up with, because no one else is you. Not exactly. Not exactly. No one else has had your exact experiences, has your exact mind and your exact heart to bring to the table here. Because with the King of Cups in reverse, often, oh my gosh, yeah. With the King of Cups in reverse, you are, the King of Cups upright is expressing from his heart, right? Is expressing his total joy, is embodying pure joy, right? This is someone, this is an artist, and you know, your craft could be anything, but I often think of a musician with the King of Cups upright, or an artist of any type. You know, this is someone expressing authentically and expressing from their heart space. The King of Water, right? The maturest, the most mature, the most mature water sign. And what it looks like you will find, first of all, you know, that's exactly what some of you are lacking, and that's what made me say that. That's exactly what some of you are lacking, is the expression from your heart space. What would your inner child do? What would the part of you that is most closely connected to spirit advise you to apply to this work? And you know, if that question doesn't work, then how can you have fun with it? And really, whatever application, in whatever way you can change this into something that is fun for you to do again, you would be very surprised how much more successful that can make you in any endeavor. It really doesn't matter what the work is, whether it's creative, whether it's something you consider art or not. If it's an expression of your authentic self and coming from your heart, then it is art of some type, you know, in some way, shape, or form. And people love to engage with, interact with, see someone having fun. Someone sharing something intimate with the world. You know, if you're willing to share your inner light, if you're willing to share these pieces of you that no one else has, because they're unique to you, people will react to that. People will buy that. People will love that. You know, that's what people want. And once you address the fact that there's something in your heart space that's not fully expressed, that's not completely coming through in this work, because you're dedicated, because you're so dedicated and working so hard, you'll see so many more options unfold for you. With the Seven of Cups up right here, you know, maybe possibly, you know, a confusing amount of options. You know, once you get in touch with that inner child, once you get in touch with that inner light, that child may offer, you know, 7 or more paths and options, and have so many suggestions that you don't know which one to choose from. And with the Six of Pentacles, but with the Six of Pentacles here in reverse, there is certainly a need to ensure that you are getting as much as you're putting into this. Even once you do get in touch with your inner light, your inner child, and find that you have all of these options. Choose the one that ensures that you're going to get as much as you're putting into it. And it also sends a message of, you know, as you're moving into and through 2019, Libras, to be patient with this work, to continue to be patient with yourself, and make sure that you're showing empathy for yourself as you move through this space, right? First of all, believe it or not, I went ahead and drew your advice card and your clarifiers because I just didn't have any more time to waste on these tech issues. But believe it or not, the Sun card did come out as your advice card, which speaks of your inner light, your inner child, exactly what I was talking about. That is what you're advised to do here, is to get in touch with what that joyful, vital, youthful, energetic part of you would bring to the table here. How would they bring your authentic, this authentic, very colorful, easygoing, lighthearted part of you to the table? How would that part of you sort of adapt and change this work just a little bit to make sure that it's all your own, that it's coming from just you, that no one else could copy it if they tried, right? You know, I'm called to say, have you ever noticed that artists, musicians who write their own music, how different it sounds when they perform it than when musicians who just sing what other writers have written, how different those performances are, right? I'm fumbling over my words here, but there's a different quality to it when musicians perform their own words, right? When singers are singing their own words, and when someone else sings those words, it's not quite the same. And when a beautiful singer sings the words of someone else, it's not quite the same. When an artist delivers, when a musician delivers their own words that they've written in their own voice, no one else can replicate that the effect that has, right? And in that way, that's what you're trying to get in touch with. And this colorful, seemingly all-knowing hummingbird here is an image that I think you may really want to connect with. And this is also the card of Leo, right? So it may be that there's a Leo around you who can help you with this work. That's also could be the advice for a few of you. But certainly that is where your luck lies. That's where all of our luck lies. Libra is in, I was saying that because of the Sun card, but that's where all of our luck lies, Libra. And you notice there's the heart there on the hummingbird. If you can see that little heart there, that's what we're talking about, getting in touch with, right? Expressing from your heart. For a few of you, there's also a dual message here. There's another message that there may be a Pisces energy that is seeking to manipulate your work in some way, edit it to their liking in some way. Don't allow that to happen. It's not their work, because I see Pisces showing up here again when you have the Six of Pentacles in reverse. This message that as you're moving through 2019, that energy may affect you in a negative way if you allow them to manipulate your work, by ensuring that you're not getting back what you're putting into it or giving to the situation. So we don't want to let that happen. But for more of you, it's really a message of being patient with this as a clarifier here, being empathetic toward yourself as well as toward your audience, towards your clients or customers. Obviously, you're being empathetic toward the work itself. I see that with your dedication there, but you want to make sure you're being empathetic towards you, because you know this may require more patience. It may take a little longer than you'd like it to. Once you see you have all these options on the table, tests may need to continue. And 77 may be particularly significant with the Seven of Pentacles and the Seven of Cups both showing up. That may prove particularly significant to this process in general as you continue to move through it, Libras. But yeah, as you're figuring out which of these options you like, you may continue to test and there's a delicate balance to be reached here. Yes, it requires hard work, but it also requires your inner child, and you definitely want to have fun with it, and you have to make sure that you're being empathetic to yourself in the process and allowing it to take as long as it needs to. With the Hangman there, it's really speaking of patience to me today. And That's what being empathetic to yourself during this process may very well mean, Libras, is making sure you allow it to take as much time as you personally need it to. Because as you get in touch with your inner child and your own heart energy and how you can have fun with this, you may need to learn about that part of yourself. So you may have to do some personal growth in your inner world before you're able to apply what you learn there about yourself to the work itself. You're obviously investing your time and energy into seeing the work growing, but do you need to grow along with it? Of course you do. That's half of the point of the process. The other half is sharing it with others, but half of the point is your own personal and internal growth. And it just may take more time than you'd like. But I see that, ironically, Murphy's Law comes into play, irony comes into play, as it always does in this ironic existence. Acceptance changes the nature of things. So as soon as you make sure that you're getting as much out of it as you're putting in, as soon as you lay back and allow it to take time, make sure you're finding your joy, make sure that you're enjoying the process that you're growing to. As soon as you decide to just hang back and let it take as long as it needs to, once you commit to that, then the progress expedites. Then it picks up, then it takes speed. You can believe me or not, these are genuinely, authentically the clarifiers and the advice card that came out. But more so what I mean is you can take the advice or not. It's wise advice from your friend the tarot, and I'm just reading what I see here. You can take it or not, but as you're moving through or into right at the beginning of, I feel like for you, 2019, it's exactly when you accept that this may take longer than you want it to. It's exactly when you accept that you need to be patient and you need to nurture your own growth just as much, if not more, as you're nurturing the growth of the project and the work. And again, I don't think that I'm telling you something you don't know. These are just the type of things that we need reminded of, right, Libra? But as soon as you make that decision, then the progress expedites. And I think it's very much connected. I mean, it could be a coincidence, although, I don't think that there really are many of those, if any at all. But you certainly know that you have all of the tools that you need to get where you're going, right? You know that you know, like I said, you are getting where you're going. The dedication is there. The tools are present. You have this, Libra, you do. It's just a matter of, I want this music for these last few seconds. It's just a matter of choosing your direction. And the adult part of you, the structured, organized part of you has its hands all over this reading, has its hands all over and all in this pie. It's you are cardinal air, so you've been very cerebral about this process, and you haven't been wrong about the fact that it takes that dedication and that hard work, of course, but knowing where you want to go and having all of the tools doesn't exactly get you there if you don't have the way that you want to get there. What I'm saying is, if you haven't chosen this particular option, that I think if you haven't made your choice between all these options that are coming up, and I think that if you allow your inner child to make that choice, just to make this one choice that you have coming up in 2019, it'll be less confusing, because with the Seven of Cups, that can be confusing. You can have all of these options that your heart space brings up. We could do it this way, we could do it this way, we could do it this way. Allow your inner child to make that call. And what I mean is, allow yourself to choose the way that's going to be fun for you too, that's going to inspire growth in you personally, and have the ride, the work be fun for you too, Libra. I mean, that's what's advised. Finding your joy, getting in touch with your inner light, that's what's going to make that's what's going to turn a profit for you. That's what's going to get your audiences or your clients, your customers' attention. That's what's going to make the work unique, as well as making it fun, and as well as helping you grow. And again, that's something that people want to see. They want to see you growing along with it and you evolving along with it. And to some extent, I think that what you're going to find underneath of everything we're dancing around here, Libras, is you're not afraid, but you're hesitating to admit the areas in which you need to grow, or maybe for some even that there are areas in which you still need to grow. Not because, you know, I don't think necessarily because of anything too egoic, but maybe just because you feel like, you know, I had to get to a point of completion within myself and in my life in order to be ready to begin this work, right? And that's true. Yes, that's true, but everything works in a cycle. So you came to a point of completion and you were ready to start the work, and that doesn't mean that you don't have more work or more growth thereafter, right? There'll be more growth and then more work, and more growth and more work. You still have much to learn about yourself. And we all do, always. And things would get really boring really quickly if that wasn't true. So again, you have all the tools that you have all of the tools that you need to get where you're going, Libras. And I think you know, you have an idea of where you want to be ultimately. You have an idea, obviously, of what you want this success to look like, ultimately, what you want this work to amount to. You're anxious for a reason. You want this to be a paramount part of your life, for sure. And anything that's going to be that pivotal, that's going to define you to that extent, anything that's going to determine such a big section of your life, of course it requires some patience. Of course it does. And of course there are going to be many options and choices as far as the route that you can take, being someone who has all the tools that they need, being someone who can obviously make magic happen when and where and how they need to. Of course there's going to be many different options as to how you can get there. Which direction do you want to go? Many of them will loop back around to your destination. So with the heart element, with you being so much in your head and so much in your body, as far as working and thinking and organizing and planning, and working and thinking and organizing and planning, and the heart element, the child inner light element, being the only thing that's dim, not missing, but just dim right now, why not let it be the part that makes that choice? So, you know, as you're progressing through January 2019, possibly once you get in touch with all of these options, all of these choices, instead of getting overwhelmed and allowing that to turn into confusion, just do a short meditation session, or before you go to sleep, set the intention to let that inner child come through, come out, and express what does it want to try first. Because again, the sooner that you accept that your own personal growth is just as important, that you deserve to be getting as much out of this as you're hoping to give to other people. And I do think that's what it is. It's something you want to give and create for other people. And so it's a very noble cause and reason why you're pressing so hard, right? As soon as you relax and say, well, I'm just going to let it take as long as it takes. I'm going to let my inner child play here and have fun and turn this into something that's just as much for me. As soon as you do that, the progress picks up, the speed picks up, it's expedited. I mean, it's, you know, it's that irony, that Murphy's Law can be a little bit frustrating, or we can use it to our advantage. We can use it like another magical tool in our toolbox. So with that, Libras, I hope that helped. I hope it offered you something that you didn't have when you came to the reading, insight, or just something. And I thank you very much just for being here with me. Again, for liking and subscribing. Welcome, Lunartics. check out the description box below if you'd like a private reading. All of your options are there, or you can email me at LunarticksTarot@gmail.com. Thank you, Libras, and I love you, and I will post another tarot fix for you very soon.